So I'm going to try doing something that's really weird. I'm going to make date seed coffee. Something I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just going to be like trying out like an experiment of sorts here. Now, date seed coffee is something that people actually do. In the Middle East, I guess it's kind of popular. You can basically make coffee out of anything you can roast. I mean, it's not really coffee because it's not made with coffee beans, it's made with something else. But this is something that people do to, like, in times of need or abundance, you can roast just about anything. My grandfather, I believe, told me he used to have coffee made out of chickpeas. So you take the dried chickpeas and you'd roast those, grind those up, and make coffee out of it. There's also chicory and different types of seeds and stuff that you can make coffee out of. It's not real coffee. It doesn't have caffeine in it, so it's kind of a bizarre thing. But supposedly date seed coffee is supposed to taste relatively similar to coffee. It's not related to coffee at all, but this is a date seed. It almost looks like a coffee bean. Except it's like a little bit longer and a little different looking, a little more like roundish and longer, but kind of like a coffee bean. So it looking like a coffee bean means absolutely nothing, but hopefully it's going to taste like coffee too. So I'm thinking that you can't just like simply roast them. Like normally people can roast their own coffee at home using an oven or on top of the stove, but they have to use green coffee beans, which are already dried. Now these are things I ate fresh, so when I take one of these and I kind of like stick my thumbnail into it, it like gives away a little bit, so it's still wet in there. There's still some moisture in these. They're not completely dried out, which worries me that like when I'm going to roast these, they're not going to roast properly because it's going to have moisture in the middle. So I'm thinking that's going to create some problems. So what I'm going to try first is actually drying these. So I've got these seeds here, and what I'm going to try to do first is dry them in my oven. Also something I've never done before, so this might not work so great. We'll see. This might be a total failure. But you can dry fruit and vegetables and stuff like that by dehydrating them basically in the oven. And normally how you do that is just you would cut the fruit or whatever like real thin and lay it out onto a pan, and you just like cook it in the oven on very low heat. See, I have it as low as it'll go on 200. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I kept these in the oven for about an hour. Like every 20 minutes, I kind of just like mix it up a little bit just so it would dry a little more evenly. And afterwards, I turned off the heat and left it in the oven overnight just to see if like it would dry out a little bit better. And it seems pretty dry. I don't think it's probably dried 100%, but I think since I'm roasting it next, it'll be okay. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna roast this in a wok. So I've got a big wok here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take these seeds and put them inside. Now, normally, if you roast coffee in a wok, you're gonna be using like, I don't know, like a half pound or a pound of seeds. This is really not a lot, which is hopefully it's going to be okay, because normally you're dealing with like a huge amount and you have to just like keep agitating it. These might burn like a little bit differently than normal. I don't know. They might roast a little differently. So we'll just see how it goes. When I was drying, you see like all this crap comes off. Like on coffee, when it comes off, you call this the chaff. So I think as I roast this, the chaff, the little like seed coating is going to come off of it as it roasts. Hopefully this will work to at least some degree. But okay, I'm gonna turn on the heat. Yeah, it's going, and I've heard it's good to roast coffee at like 400 to 500 degrees. So I don't know what that is on here, since I'm just using, you know, a stove that goes up to low or high. So I'm just gonna kind of like monitor it. As it heats up, you want to like agitate it a little bit so the seeds are getting roasted on each side. But yeah, so I'm just putting it in now. Let's see what happens in the next few minutes. Okay, it's been about maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's already, as you see, getting pretty toasty there. It looks like it's mostly just like the outer seed coating that is getting charred. So I think maybe I'm gonna actually lower it a little bit. So I don't want it just to scorch the outside, I want it to actually cook the inside too. I'm also going to turn on these guys here after I'm done talking, because this is starting to produce like a little bit of smoke here. But as you see, they are getting cooked. Now when you do green coffee, when you roast green coffee, there's something called first crack. It's supposed to be like after, you know, like 5-10 minutes, the coffee beans start to pop. And that's a sign that they're, you know, the insides are getting cooked, and they're getting done. I don't know if these are going to do it, because this is not coffee. These are date seeds, but let's see what happens. But so far, it seems to be doing something here. The chaff is burning off. You see all the chaff floating around there? It's cooking. Okay, we're going on about 15 minutes, and they're getting pretty dark. I don't know how long to cook these. Maybe I've cooked them too far. I'm not too sure. But if you look at them, like, oil is starting to come out of them, which is a sign that they're getting pretty much done, or that they are done. And some of them are still kind of white though. Like they're not cooking like all the way through, which is why I'm still cooking them, because I think like if they're white, then they're not roasted. Like they're still gonna be like wet in the middle. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but this might be overcooking. Maybe I'll start taking, since there's so few, maybe I'll start taking like the really dark ones out. Okay, so it's been, oh gosh, like almost a half an hour, maybe like 20-25 minutes for most of these. Ouch, they're still hot. But if you look at it, it looks kind of like coffee. It doesn't smell particularly like coffee. It smells just kind of like charred. It just smells like kind of like burning wood or like burning food. But it looks like it, so maybe that's good. I don't know. And then you see, like, it's not really even. Like, like, some of these white ones, I kept them in there for a while and they just would not cook through. We'll see what happens here. I'm gonna leave this, well, first I put it in a colander here to shake out, like, all the little bits of chaff that might be left over. And, after this, you're supposed to keep it in like a brown bag or something, just so it can cool down, because it's still supposed to like continue to cook on the inside after you've roasted it. The seeds have been dried, they've been roasted, and now they're just gonna set for a day, and then next will come grinding, brewing, and finally drinking. So let's see how that goes. That's really not a lot of coffee. Okay, it looks like coffee. Does not smell like coffee. It just smells like burn. But I'm sure it tastes delicious. This is a little disappointing. It's not like as dark as coffee should be. It looks more like a dark black tea than coffee. Maybe this should have gone in a French press. Okay, it's time for another edition of Make My Friends try horrible things. Let's smell it. See what it smells like.
It smells like tea made from burnt toast.
Tea from burnt toast.
It doesn't smell like it did when it was beans.
I think it's got like a little bit of a fruity smell to it.
Yeah, it does. The beans smelled like someone had put soy sauce on Fig Newtons, but this smells a little better than that.
Yeah, it's got
It
like
does have a tea scent.
yeah, maybe like a little bit like a berry kind of smell or something.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Well, burnt is the first taste.
There's definitely a distinct taste of burnt.
But kind of like sunflower seeds, maybe?
Sunflower?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I can see it a little. It's like nutty.
it is nutty.
Yeah. I mean, sunflower seeds are a seed, and this is made from seeds.
So maybe this is the taste of toasted seed hull.
Could be. I mean, coffee is also a seed.
It's a better tasting seed.
Coffee is definitely better. Like on a scale between 1 and 10, where like 10 is coffee and 1 is not coffee.
I would give it a 3.
It's more like a 2.
Really? It's like that far from coffee?
Well,
What
I
do
think
you
that this
think?
isn't strong enough. I think if it was stronger, it
Yeah.
might taste a little bit more like coffee, but the first taste that I really noticed was the water taste.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely like, this is more passable for tea.
The thing that makes it furthest from coffee is that coffee kind of has this like robustness to it.
Mhm.
It's got something where it's like
Yeah, there's like a density to the flavor, and this is a very thin, like aromatic flavor.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it is obviously much thinner. You know, it's not as concentrated as coffee. If this were stronger in taste, would that taste like coffee?
I think possibly, but there is definitely like a fruity overtone
Yeah.
that is not usually part of coffee.
It tastes like a ribus tea, but if you added in like the burn kind of flavor that a coffee would have.
I can see it even. Yeah, I think so. It is a little rooibos tea.
a little bit.
But
It is kind of like chicory coffee a little bit,
Does
though.
does it taste like
Chicory
chicory?
coffee is a little bit different. I mean, it's a lot different, but it's like it's closer to
Well,
chicory.
chicory has like a smoky taste and earthy,
Mhm.
and this isn't very earthy, I wouldn't say.
It's smoky though.
It is smoky.
But smoky in the sense of like charcoal.
Yeah, I've had enough of that. That's-
Really, it's not pleasurable.
I think it's
you're-
alright.
Yeah, it's like I think I could actually drink this. I mean, I can't drink black coffee, but if you were to put like milk and sugar in this, I would. It's better than some of the bad coffee I've had.
I just drink the burntness, and I'm like, this is a cup of carcinogens.
Well, yeah, there's always that.
Yeah, this is like a more pleasant way to drink like a cup of charcoal.
Well, you have to keep in mind, like I eat fire for a living,
That's true.
so like I
You
think.
eat fire, and yet strong coffee is not good enough for you.
This is true. If you were, but like, I think like the taste of char doesn't really bother me so much anymore. Maybe it's because it burned off those particular taste buds. I'm not sure, but like this tastes okay. Like I would be able to drink this. Like if I've had like coffee that tastes like really really awful,
Yeah.
this is better than awful coffee.
Yeah, like the gas station coffee
Yeah.
that's been like sitting for days.
That's true. That's bad, but it's still coffee.
Mm.
And this
Yeah,
is...
this is just bad in a way that isn't coffee.
So it doesn't satisfy that need for coffee.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say so.
If you had absolutely no coffee and you had date seeds ground up,
I would
for
probably
some
just-
reason.
I would find something else that wasn't trying to be coffee.
You
I
wouldn't drink.
I would make an herbal tea or something like
Mhm.
out of something.
If you really wanted coffee, you would choose having water over this.
Yes.
That's saying something. See, I would go for this. I think I would rather have this in the morning just because I desperately need coffee. But I would choose tea over this.
I would choose tea over this too.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
I would rather have black tea
I'm
with
a
milk
big
and sugar.
fan of coffee itself, like the taste of coffee.
In summation with this, I'm okay with it. I would drink it if I had to, but it isn't really good. I'm not going to finish this, and I think that's saying something. But if I was desperate for coffee, I didn't have coffee, I would take this with milk and sugar and be like reasonably okay with it.
I heard somewhere that in the Civil War, people would take a biscuit and burn it in a pot and crunch it up until it was just char and mix it with water and pretend like they were drinking coffee. And I imagine that this is maybe a step up from that.
It's better than a
I think
burnt
so.
biscuit, is what you're saying.
Probably it's got like a fruity taste.
Yeah, but I think considering it doesn't have like such a notably just like charcoal taste.
Yeah.
There is something extra there.
There is.
So I think maybe if it were a lighter roast, maybe there's something to it. But as a dark roast or whatever this is, it's okay. It's drinkable, but not pleasurable.
It's not great.
Well, I think that's enough about this. So
Okay.
now that we've finished this cup of non-coffee, what are we gonna eat? We have cappuccino flavored potato chips to
Also not coffee.
also not coffee, but maybe more like coffee than this.
I don't know about
But
that.
that is a stretch. But I think this has been a fun fruit adventure. So thanks for watching. Bye bye. Any good?
Oh, it's so weird.
That is really weird. Question though. Are these better than the coffee?
No!
Yes,
No?
they are. It tastes like cinnamon granola.
Ew, no.
I think that these are better than the date coffee.
Oh,
I'd rather drink the big coffee. That is nasty.
this is so awful. I have
Yeah, that's
so many
what-
awful tastes in my mouth right now.
You don't like the gifts I brought you?
Why do we invite you over?
I think that's a different series.
Oh
Alright,
my god.
thank you.